Super exciting today. All right. Welcome, everyone, to another week of Blueprint for Peak Performance Ask Me Anything. I'm Brandi Smith with Perfect 10 Physical Therapy and Performance Training and Perfect 10 PT Academy, online coaches for parents, coaches, and athletes. I'm super excited. Today, for those of you that don't know me, I'll just do a quick. I'm a two-time former collegiate national championship gymnast and a physical therapist and performance coach. I work with athletes all the way down to little 3-month-old babies in our baby preschool developmental program for gyms, all the way up to Olympic and college and elite level athletes. I work with athletes who do all kinds of weird things with their body. So mostly gymnasts, cheerleaders, dancers, figure skaters, all of that. So I'm super excited. Every week over the years, I've been speaking and teaching through USA Gymnastics and Texas Gymnastics since 2008. And that experience has given me a lot of opportunities to talk with and work with lots of different coaches and clinicians across the globe, actually. And so here we bring in various different people and we talk about all kinds of different fun topics. As an athlete myself, I had a 3-year battle with fear that actually cost me my college career. Well, it didn't cost me a college career. It cost me to be cut from the team. And then I ended up walking back on and earning a scholarship and competing for the college for beam and vault. And my fear was on beam. So I had a 3-year history with my flick lay on beam of fear. And it was so frustrating for everyone around me. Frustrating for my parents, frustrating for my teammates, frustrating for my coaches, because I had a beautiful flick lay when I went for it, but I went for it like 10% of the time. And after a year of doing that, my freshman year in college, I ended up getting cut my sophomore year because of fear alone. They wanted me on beam and they wanted me on vault. And vault, I was replaceable. And so they cut me. And so I went home that summer on fire and kind of had to dig deep and figure out what was going on with my fear. And so that began my journey in learning about the brain, the mind, how we talk, our language. There's a whole lot that goes into fear, including the primal responses that happen with fear. And so that kind of was the beginning of that. And I came back to earn a spot and become a starter on beam. And I was actually third up on beam in college. That was back when 6 competed, 5 counted. So the third position was the most consistent. And I was really blessed to finish out my career and nail my beam routine at nationals on day 2 when we won our championship. And so I went from that kid that was literally going, it's Monday and it's flight day in calculus AP in high school, sweating, heart racing, hands all sweaty and palmy, and breathing like really hard and having trouble breathing, to that athlete who by my senior year, I could take 2 or 3 breaths and recognize I was still fearful. I love how Levi talks about it. We'll talk about it, I'm sure. There was still fear, right? But I was able to manage it, and it became just me and the beam. Didn't matter how many people were there. Didn't hear anything. And I remember landing that routine, my very last beam routine actually ever. Um, I remember landing it and being like, "Oh, there's like a lot of people here. There's a lot going on. I just did that." Because it was just me and the beam, and that took a lot to get that to that place. So that's part of my journey. Part of what I work with athletes is fear, both the mental and emotional aspect of it, as well as the physiological, physical aspect of fear. So I'm super excited because I absolutely love Coach Levi. We've got Coach Levi Nixon. I'm gonna pin him and bring him in, and he has come in a couple times and you guys have asked for him back. So we're really happy to have him back. He is the tumble block specialist. He specializes and works with pretty much no one except people who have fear. So he is here today to talk about managing fear with tumbling. And I'm really excited to have you, Levi. It's always wonderful. So without further ado, come on in.
What up?
How you doing,
Glad to
man?
be on today. Good. I'm doing well. I was hoping that I could get my audio better. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you pretty good. Yeah,
I
it's
I couldn't get my stuff connected how I usually do, but
yeah.
you know how it is. You
I
just
do know
roll
how
with
to.
whatever you can. So I'll try to
It's
speak up loud so you guys can hear me well.
yeah, you use your coaching voice and we're good.
Yeah.
So however you do it right now, you're good. Your
Cool.
your projecting voice, not that you're yelling when you're coaching, but just you.
Yes, 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 yes. Not that, hey guys, get it together. Not that like
Yeah, I
voice
don't
that
ever.
just like cuts through. But yes.
Yeah. Come on in. Do you want to tell them any more about you? You're in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right?
Yes. Tulsa, Oklahoma. For those that I have not met or weren't previously on here, whenever I joined Brandi and in her community, I have owned a gym, specialized in tumbling. I
Yeah,
opened it
your
back
gym
in,
is Tumble Smart, right?
yeah, Tumble Smart. Yep. Tumble Smart in Tulsa, Oklahoma, more specifically Broken Arrow, which is just a little suburb of Tulsa. And we do recreational tumbling classes there on a weekly basis. But I personally specialize in working with athletes that are dealing with high levels of fear and anxiety in their tumbling, whether you call it the twisties or mental block, or I call it tumble block. But all kind of the same thing whenever kids are at that point to where they're just frozen and they stand there and they just like hesitate and they look behind them and they try to go again. So those type of athletes, the type of athletes where it's like a coach's worst nightmare to work with those kids because they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like this kid just stands here and I don't know how to help them. So those are the kids that I love working with and enjoy looking to help because for me, and I believe any coach that's in coaching for the correct reasons is bigger than just getting the kid to be able to do the skill, right? It's bigger than them just being able to perform it, for them to do well in competition. It's the bigger picture of helping them learn how to be resilient young individuals and grow into adults that know how to work through difficult situations because the reality is as adults we never stop going through difficult, scary situations in everything that we do in life. So that's what I hope to do, and help those that I work with to learn how to do scary things because that's what we deal with as human beings. And I
Yeah.
just use tumbling as the vehicle to be able to do that.
I love that. I mean, I think that that's the thing that most, at least most in our community, they're in the sport of gymnastics, not just for gymnastics. It's the
Mhm.
ability to use, I always say this, that gymnastics, cheerleading, tumbling, sport is just a vehicle for us to experience, learn,
Yeah.
and grow and become amazing humans, right? We learn
Mhm.
so many traits from sport that just becomes a part of our character and who we are
Mhm.
and what we're capable of in life. So I think I love it. I love working with you because that is your under premise and it comes out in
Yeah.
everything you do. So what are we going to tackle today? Where do we want to go today with this?
We could I mean, I could talk about fear management stuff all day, so I can just randomly
Start from
go down down a path and just kind of go from there. Or we could kick it off with if someone has a specific question, something that they want, and I want us to build this conversation on. Because I'm here for your community. I'm here for you guys. So if there's anybody, whether it's here with us in the webinar or watching live stream, someone has something specific, whether you're a coach, you're a parent. I don't know if any athletes are on here right now, but
Yeah, mostly coaches and parents right now.
cool.
We
So
have
if
some
there,
coaches, gym owners, some parents, some performance coaches are on here as well right now. So yeah, does anyone have a question? You want to just go ahead and unmute or have a case or something that you're, actively thinking about or struggling with an athlete? We're here. We can kind of just open up first. We'll give you a little bit.
so Brandy, I had a chance to work with one of your kiddos.
I know.
Um,
Excited. I saw videos.
yeah, that was really cool. That was a really cool experience of talking with her mom here last time. I don't know if this was the first time or the second time that I was on your webinar, but chatted there, and then it was like, oh, you're in Oklahoma, we're in Oklahoma too. And so it was cool that she came down and worked with me and said that she was feeling good physically. You got her to that point physically where she needed to be, and then I was able to actually put all the things in place. I know you work with your kids not only just physically but mentally and all those different things. So we're able to put some of those things into practice, and her having a coach that one knows you, so I know what you stand for, and I know your process more than just a random coach that doesn't work with you. So it was cool to be able to be that that bridge for her to take the things that you've taught her and then actually put them into the gym. That was a fun little experience.
What I saw was really great about it because we do visualizations, we do our IMs, we do the breathing techniques to help self-regulate. She had already come over a lot of fears. So this athlete that we're talking about had a spondy, and she had pain with any arching for a long time, actually. And that pain contributed to already, it kind of built up some of the fear. And then she had had some falls, she had had some balking, she'd had some, consistent stuff that added to the fear. Um, and she actually, when we first started, just laying down and putting her hands in a position to do a bridge about made a hyperventilation like experience. Like it was so much fear about, can I push up? Can I really arch? So I was like, okay, let's take a moment. Why don't you just lay on your stomach and see if you can do a Superman? And even that was alarming to her alarm system early on because she had had so much pain. She had also had a belief structure around the spondylolisthesis being like, there is a lot. I have other athletes I'm working with too, where everybody thinks it's like the death of anything fun that they're ever going to do. Right, like it's like, I'll never get back to gymnastics, I'll never get back to cheerleading, I can
Mhm.
never tumble again, I can never arch, I should never ever go past sitting up straight. And that's just not the case. It's a movement pattern behind it that and muscle imbalances. But in connection with that is also this rewiring of the brain, because nerves that fire together wire together. And so she wired many repetitions over many years of back walkovers, arching, back handsprings. She wired that with pain, right? And so, and then with the pain and with the balking and all the other same came wiring from coaches, frustrations, teammates, frustrations, being pulled from things. There's all these things that wire into their brain into this map, her arching map. And so
Mhm.
we did a bunch of work to make her feel safe. I mean, we did the underlying work that most therapists, I hope, are doing it, but some of them miss the movement. You have to watch for this shearing that happens at the level where the spondylolisthesis is. And that is the biggest reason why I find that physical therapists fail with an athlete with spondylolisthesis is they don't look at the hypermobility when they're doing their actual exercises.
Mhm.
Don't address the underlying movement pattern. So they're like, they still have too much movement, and they might get by with like basic movements. But then when they go to load 5, 10 times, 15 times their body weight or more, they don't get by with that like added movement. And so we spent a bunch of time making sure she learned what her preferences were, how to not pull from that spot, working out the muscle imbalance, all that stuff. And then when she was strong enough, we built safe spaces for her to be able to begin to arch backwards. Like that's the formula, really. I'm giving away off my formula. No one's gonna ever come see me. But no, but it's like that's the formula, is creating safety around the movement that caused issues for so long, right? And so I do that with resistance bands. I do that, like there's a lot of really specific things I do, but part of it also was her vestibular system. So as she went backwards, she actually didn't know exactly where she was. So we did a bunch of
Mhm.
vestibular
Mhm.
and visual training, because if that input is not good, right? Like if I don't get exactly if I lose track somewhere in the middle of here of input from my eyes, or the input's a little off, or how fast is the floor coming to me, or my ear is like I lose a little angle in the middle of the back handspring. It's usually somewhere in here. Some people it's here. It's usually somewhere in here. Like this is where they're standing about to jump. It's usually somewhere in here that angle of, like, I call it the uh-oh angle. It's that moment
Mhm.
where you see their body tense and you go, uh-oh, they don't know where they are possibly because it's a
Yep. Yep.
primal response. I don't know if you've heard me talk about, like, if I say, hey, there's a lion coming in the room, I'm not gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna hug the lion, come get me. I'm gonna protect all my organs, which
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the presence of gymnastics looks like closed shoulders and closed.
Yep, 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 yep.
And
For
you all see
sure.
it, you see it in the balking. You were just talking about it earlier when you were talking about the athlete who was standing there, they kind of look behind them. They're kind of looking behind for the lion. Like they're kind of like
Yep,
they're
yep, yep. Oh, that's true. That is so
that
true.
alertness of it's a primal response. And
Yeah,
and when we start letting them know like it's primal, it's normal, your brain is
yeah.
so
That's
smart that it's
important.
trying
Is
to prevent you.
And then that helps them feel less shame too, right? Like there's something wrong with them because then they're like, oh, all right, well, this is normal. I mean, the reality is, and I'd say this, sometimes kind of jokingly, but it lightens the mood. It helps kids and parents too alike when it's like you're actually more normal for feeling this way. Like everyone else that just flips without thinking about it, they're actually crazy because
Yeah.
it's like not a normal thing. So the fact that you're like is the same. It's your body or in your mind and just your whole system just taking care of you. And that's what it's designed to do is to make sure we stay safe and we stay alive. So it's just that survival mechanism kicking on. It's like that's a normal thing, So we just have to learn how to work with that, not turn it off. And I
Yeah.
hear, and I'm sure because you work in a similar space of helping people with fear and things, it's like people are always looking for that. I just need you to make my kids' fear go away. It's like, well, no.
They want to
Even if I
overcome.
could,
They use
even
the
if
word
I could, I
overcome.
wouldn't want. I wouldn't want to do that. Like, I don't want to take your kids' fear away. Like, the fear is there to help them, protect them. And yes, and I've talked about on previous webinars with you. I avoid that terminology overcome
Or
or
conquer.
to conquer. Yes, because the reality is we're going to continue coming up to big scary things, so it's learning how to exercise that muscle of discomfort and condition that discomfort and be okay with it and still being able to do it even when you're scared because you know what you're doing, and just learning how to get all the systems in line to work together, not turning we don't want to turn anything off, we don't want to cut anything out. Like it's there for a reason, so we just got to learn how to work with it.
I like that you use the word systems and use the word align, right? Because that's really the key. So I tell people like fear is just information. What is it telling you?
Hmm.
The first thing it should ask me is like, am I prepared? Like the athlete I worked with, if she'd come to you sooner, she hadn't tumbled in like a long time. She hadn't even done push-ups or conditioning. Like her
Yeah.
bridges the first time were like, I'm like, we gotta get a little strength in there before
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So what is it telling me? Is it telling me I'm not ready? Do I not have enough range of motion? Am I not strong enough? Is it telling me I didn't do my progressions or I didn't do
Yeah.
enough progressions, right?
Hmm.
And a lot of times with not in her case because she needed, but the fear was there before. So before she was strong and had the fear. So there were multi factors by the time
Yeah.
us. But like a lot of times the athletes are like, check, 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 because like the coaches have them conditioning, they're strengthening, they're whatever. And so then the next question is the fear telling us? So one of the things I like to see is like, is the fear telling us that all the information coming in is accurate? So like my eyes, my visual system, my vestibular system, my inner ear, is that information accurate? And then the next question is it telling me that I have thinking that's drawing me. So it's back to that alignment you're talking about. Remember you talked about the tanks, mental,
Hmm.
emotional, and physical tanks.
Hmm.
I love it because you and I had never talked before and we threw that up. I was like, I do the same thing. I say we have a mental body, emotional body, physical body.
So,
So, but I like the tanks as very visual, which is
uh,
but yeah, it's this idea that there's a misalignment in one of the tanks. Like one of the days you'd said, what if they had gotten in a fight with their friends? All of a sudden the emotional tank is down. Now the fear is higher, right? Because the
mhm.
lion is bigger in their life.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it's
yeah.
there for a reason though. I do, it's important. I tell them, one thing I say is if I ask someone, are you afraid when you get on the beam? And they say no, I'm like, they're either crazy or they're lying. Like if it's
Yes.
a 4 inch piece of wood, 4 feet in the air, you better be afraid.
Facts.
And the
Fact.
fear should tell you to pay
Yes.
attention. Like,
Yes. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like this matters. This moment matters. So pay attention to what you're doing. Yeah, I think if someone gets on a beam on a high beam and they're not afraid of doing any of like their big elite skills, they're a psychopath. It's like
Okay.
if your kid's not scared or like has any sense of fear, then you probably need to go get them checked out on a deeper level.
I've heard coaches back in the day, coaches used to say, we like to get them when they're young, like before 7, before the fear sets in. And all they're saying is that they don't have a developmental brain. So then they're going to trust blanketly everything you say as a coach and not make a choice. And I'm like, I don't know if this is something I am on board with. Like, I'm just like, I get that it's easier for you.
Yeah, yeah,
In
yeah.
the end,
That's
I'm
good.
thinking developmentally, I don't know if I'm okay with this.
Hmm.
But I tell people though, fear has a superpower. Did you know that? I know you know the superpower, Levi.
Let me hear it.
Yeah, so every emotion has a superpower. I do a whole talk on it, on the emotional
Okay.
superpowers. And it's funny, I've never done it live. I've never done it here. I've done it with some staff trainings.
Uh-huh.
I've done it individually. But yeah, so fear superpower is alertness and focus, right? So if
Uh-huh.
you think about it, if I'm in a dark alley and I'm walking around and I see a guy, I'm 5'2", blonde hair, blue-eyed girl by myself, and it's dark down an alley, and I see this big figure on the other side of the alley. I doggone better have fear. And what is it going to do? It's going to alert me and say, is it safe to go down? Should I go back to the car? Do I need to call a friend? Could I take the guy? Could I not? Like, it makes me alert. So now all of a sudden I'm hearing everything, I'm seeing everything. I get very tunneled vision, which if I'm doing balance beam, tunnel vision is a very good
That's a
idea.
good thing, man.
If
Yeah.
I'm tumbling down the floor, I should have tunnel vision to go straight and not hit the
Uh-huh.
other cheerleaders tumbling next to me. Like,
That's good. That's
good
good. I
idea.
like that. I like
So
that
fear's
analogy, man.
superpower is alertness and focus.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Good, good stuff.
I love it. But so what I was going to finish up with, wrapping up with how I loved her that she got to come with you, was
All
because
right.
sometimes, many times, especially in the cheer world, when we work and do these details, the breathing, the I am statements, the visualization, and then doing her warm up with her bands and that kind of stuff, it's not accepted in the gym sometimes. Even in really big high level gyms with really high level athletes, I have athletes who won't take their bands in and they'll do their basics at home before they go to the gym. And I'm like, it's just like, but the part that misses when we do that is what you just talked about, conditioning, that Pavlovian conditioning, right? The dog, the food, the bell, the salivation. So they have conditioned and rewired their brain with fear to be a part of it and balking to be a part of it and all that stuff. I need them to take the new conditioning that we did at home or in my space and take it into your floor. They need to be on the
Mhm.
blue floor. They need to be on the beam. They need to have that coach that says, okay, did you do your IMs? Did you do your breathing? That gives them space to do the warm up so that they experience a pain free bridge in the gym. There's an
Yeah. Yeah,
importance
yeah, yeah.
wiring. I've heard you talk about this, but wiring that
Sure.
movement pattern, the new experience without pain, the feeling of confidence, right? We're wiring all that together in that space.
In that environment,
So
yeah.
in the environment with the coach, quote unquote, sort of judging, but then realizing that, wait, that coach isn't judging, they're here to support me. So
Yeah.
understanding that coaches can support and not
Hmm.
judge and breaking that cycle. Because I think part of what you do, because I saw it in her tumbling. I mean, they were so happy. First time to do back handsprings, round up back handsprings. Like they were like beyond happy. But I was so happy to have you where you were in her recovery because we needed that. I needed her to get into a gym,
Hmm.
and she
Hmm.
already
Hmm.
spoke to me. She wasn't feeling safe to go
Yeah,
back
yeah, yeah.
and tumble with that. They weren't even conditioning at the gym. They were going to a different place to condition. So I was like, we need a safe space where she has a cheer coach that's like opening up that space, and you were a perfect
Hmm.
safe space for that.
Hmm.
And now she gets some repetitions in there. We've wired it hard enough that now she can go into
You can
the,
take it to her other place, yeah. That's so good.
and it
We
was so
make we make a good team, Brandy. Way to go. High five.
I mean, I couldn't have done it without you because like she wasn't gonna the fear in that situation, some of them we can get over some things on air track
Sure.
at home. But in that situation, she really has to be in
She
the
had to be on that blue mat, man, in that environment, in a cheer type of environment,
yeah,
and be able to walk through it like that. And yeah, so now she can boom keep going with the other coaches. So that's
yeah.
cool. That was a fun experience to work with that kiddo.
It was
Um,
great.
Did you get any questions?
We do. We have a question. So Sarah has come in. It's nice to see you, Sarah, by the way. Sarah is from Splits and Lifts. She has an awesome Instagram. If you haven't followed her yet.
Splits and
Oh my God.
lifts.
Yeah. Sarah
That's
doesn't
cool.
know me personally, but Sarah, I know you through Betsy McNally, through Betsy's boot camp. So Sarah has a question, or doesn't have a question, she has a question. She says, I have a lot of clients with the classic, I'm afraid of missing my hands on beam. What physical exercises do you like to use to get them to trust themselves? And then she said she loves the lion metaphor. Oh yeah, Sarah, we've got a lot of lions and a lot of different stuff we work with. But Levi,
Yeah,
what
what
physical exercises do you like to use to get them to trust themselves?
on Beam, honestly, you could probably speak to this better than I could, specific to Beam, in the whole like afraid of missing the hands thing. But I think what it
But you got the
the
premise on the trust themselves. You do
yes,
that.
well, the input that I would give, and then I'll let Brandy maybe give you some more like tactical, practical things in the gym, is I talk about this idea of no matter what, the way that you feel is going to be there. So you have what you feel, and then you have what you know. So your athletes, when they're staying there, they're analyzing the situation. It's like, okay, you feel scared, you feel like your hands are going to miss the beam, you feel all these things, but what do you know? And like, what are the things that we have consistently done and worked on? What's the facts? What's the evidence that you can do this and your hands aren't going to miss the beam because you've done X, Y, Z? And then getting the athlete to always get back to what they know without erasing or trying to erase how they feel. And that's where a lot of people in any situation get it wrong, whether it's coaches or parents or teammates that are trying to, cheer the kid on. They're like, come on, you got this, don't be scared. And so trying to cause them to feel differently than they do, that's just a waste of time. Like the kid is feeling that certain type of way. That's how they feel. But what do they know? And if you can get them to that and just reminding them what they know, because the truth is, no matter how they feel, that doesn't change the result of how the skill works or where their hands are going to go on the beam. So it comes back down to what do they know, and reminding them about that, without trying to take away the fear, or without trying to tell them, come on, don't be scared. Or what is silly to me whenever people say, and I get why they're saying this, but they say, come on, don't think about it. Well, if you don't think about anything at all, chances are, one, you're either not going to do anything because you ain't thinking about anything, or what that typically leads to is overthinking. Like if you're just like, okay, I'm not gonna think of anything at all those bad, terrible thoughts flood your mind. So you have a greater chance of, if you can focus back on what do I actually need to think about. So what overthinking, a lot of times people, they classify it as, is you're overthinking the skill. You're overthinking the skill. And typically what I have learned that it is, whenever kids overthinking, they're not overthinking the skill, they're overthinking all of the other factors about how, oh my gosh, I got to do this back handspring on the beam because I competed this year. Whenever I get done with class tonight, I'm going to go home. My mom's going to ask me, hey, did you do your handspring on the high beam? I know my coaches are expecting me to do this, but man, I'm so scared. In that moment, when that kid's thinking of all those things, they're not thinking about the skill at all. They're not thinking about what can I practically do to make sure I place my hands where it needs to be, or whenever I go for my prep or my takeoff, what do I need to do in order to be successful in doing the skill? So they're not overthinking the skill. They're actually not thinking about the skill at all. So it just comes back to getting the kid focused on what specifically can they do, and to get them to refocus and be present in that moment on the skill itself. And kind of like Brandy said, I love the whole analogy, or the thing she talked about, tunnel vision. Like that tunnel vision is good, especially when you're on the beam. I really like that. So getting them to focus on just a couple of things. Like, you don't want to be super detailed, and it's like, okay, you got to do da, 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 da. It's like, okay, what two or three things can we do to make sure that we can hit this? And we know the truth is, if we do one, two, three, you're gonna be successful in doing it, no matter how you feel. If you can get your athletes there, remember, that doesn't take the fear away. So the things that I'm saying, at the end of the day, they're easier said than done. But if you can create this mindset for all your athletes, and get all your kids on all of their events to really think about what are the practical things that we can do? There's a greater chance that they'll do it even when they're scared, because fear is not a bad thing. So maybe Brandon can give you some actual practical things to go to kind of build on the mindset things.
I love that. First of all, I want to tell you that I now use this a lot more. What is your truth? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because like emotions and like the mental fog, right? Like the mental storm, all the thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
right? Those can take you away very far.
Absolutely. Yep.
And then the emotions can just take you away really far from the truth, right? And especially teenagers and tweens who are like have this rush of
Yes.
hormones, those emotions will just rip them so far from the truth of who they are that it's so
Yes.
hard to watch sometimes. But like, so I've been asking this question, like, I'm okay, feel what you're feeling, right? What are you feeling? Where do you feel it in your body, right? So
Yeah.
bringing them to the present moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are you feeling in your body? And then name it, right? So what does it feel? Okay, I feel burning in my chest, or I feel this thing. Okay, now name it. It's anger, it's fear, it's frustration, it's shame, that, whatever it is, right? If the whatever words their bandwidth is, they just say that. And then once we, feel it and we name it, then okay, well, is it true? Like, or not, is it true? What is that feeling telling you? Right? Like, what is that feeling telling you, or one about yourself? Not about others, not about whatever. What does it feel telling you about
Mm-hmm.
yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's telling me I don't feel prepared, or it's telling me, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, okay, I don't feel prepared. Is that the
Is
truth?
that true? Come
Right?
on.
Like,
Yeah.
is that the truth? Are you not prepared? And like, well, I mean, I just did one on the low beam and it was great. And I've done 10 every day on the floor line. And, you know, and Doc Alley talks about like creating a piggy bank. And so I actually draw a piggy bank, but it's a confidence bank where you just bank in every number. And I don't care if it's spotted, I don't care if it's on the high beam, I don't care if it's the low beam, I don't care if it's on the floor line, like just showing them so that over time
Mm.
they go, my truth is actually right here. I've
That's
done
good.
like,
I
so
like
I did
that.
this in college, and I think, and it became a game. It's part of what I used. It's part of Doc Alley's skill ladder progression. But like, it became a game because I just kept tracking it. I was already 2 years into like really over the fear, but I was like, I want to see how many I do in my college career. Like, I was like, and it was like 30,000 flick lays.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
ridiculous. I had like sheet after sheet after sheet just on the dorm wall when I walked in, marked down my day, and
That's so
it just
cool.
became a fun game. But at
Yeah.
that point, by the time I hit nationals, it was like, the truth is I have hit these many
Yes,
pages,
yes,
and
yes.
it's like, what other question do I
Yeah, yeah. So no matter how you feel, it's like, what is the truth? What is the facts? That's what matters more than anything, despite how you feel. So that's good. I like that. The piggy bank.
Yeah, and so then after I ask them what is the truth, and then I say, and then sometimes I ask them, and so sometimes they tell me, that truth or whatever, and then the next question I ask them is, well, what does the emotion want to do? Because they've already started a neurochemical process in their brain. The gates have opened. It's rushing the body, and if you don't deal with the neurochemicals, you're now really having to manage like more than you really
Mm,
need to. It's a lot of resources to manage that rush. And so it's like, does it want to push? Does it want to kick? Does it want to fight? Does it want to jump around? Does it want to just take a nice deep breath and go, like what does it want? And then help them move that energy out of their body to help reset the short term, right? And then sometimes I'm like, but what's the long term? What does the emotion also want to do long term, right? Well, I'm fearful. So for the long term, it wants me to be alert and focused when I go for this flight on beam every time. Great, use that, right? Like it's telling me to be present. And the words you were talking about, technical cues, Doc Allison Arnold also uses that, and she calls them action words. And I have to give credit where it's due because I use it, but it came from Doc Alley early on. That's where I learned it. Um, but it's like this idea of like keeping them in the present moment. So for my flick lay, my words, this also goes to Sarah, the whole afraid of missing your hands thing. The reason this is also things you should never do, is skip progressions, right? So I used to do a flick flick and I was scared of that. And so my flick lays were much better. And it sort of was semi less scarier because I didn't have to put my hands down because I was afraid of my hands getting missed on the second one. And so they let me go to flick lays and stop doing flick flicks, which you should never do. Always do a progression. So the fear just gets bigger when you don't have anything below to go down to.
Yeah.
It's like there's no
That's a really
backup.
good point. We could
There's
talk
no
about
backup.
that, but continue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, look, things not to do by learning from your own 3-year battle. But yeah, so my words became, this came from the Action Words with Doc Alley and goes to your technical stuff, became what I was supposed to see. Because tumbling backwards on the beam was so scary for me, what I now know I realize is I disassociated, right? So I would be driving the vehicle on my switch leap pass, and I'd be driving the vehicle on my dance before, and then I go to do my flick lay and I would hit cruise control and jump out of my vehicle and say, good luck. and and that just doesn't go for consistency. And
Yes.
that doesn't
Yeah.
go for confidence, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So part of what really actually helped me was the concept of my action words actually being present things I had to do. So I had to be present. So I actually had, my words were hands, feet, beam, feet, because that's what I was supposed to see
Hold
on
on. Can I pause you for 1 second, Brady? Because this is so good. This is so freaking good. So what you're saying right now, most people or most, whether it's parents or coaches, they they believe that's what overthinking is, what you just described, but it's not. It's actually not. Overthinking is all the other things that you're doing and not being present on what you're doing in that moment. And that's so good because there's few people that I have come across that think of it in the same way that I do. And this isn't just theory, like this is from me actually walking through hundreds or thousands of kids at this point through similar process of actually thinking about what you're doing. That's not overthinking. And but at the same time, making it simple, just like you give yourself just like a couple words like hands, feet, beam. Like just giving yourself those cues is so freaking important, man. So
your
didn't mean to
mind.
interrupt you, but I had to because I just wanted to appreciate you in that moment for what you're
Thanks,
saying.
Levi.
This is
Thanks,
so
Levi.
good.
It some of it's Doc Alley stuff, some of it's experience. But this is the thing that you have to think about though, is that your brain is going to think.
Yep.
Like, so it's just a matter of what you want to think. Like, so this
Yeah.
is what I tell people too. Everything we do in life is a story. I'm going to be a good physical therapist. I'm going to be a gymnast. I'm going to go to college and get this degree. Those are just stories, right? But so is the story that my mom's going to ask me the question. They're going to be
Yeah.
I'm going to get cut from the team. Guess what? I got cut from the team. Like, it does happen. Like,
Yeah.
now what? Like,
Yeah.
okay, everything I thought about while standing up for the entire 2 rounds of beam where they didn't let me leave the beam. I stood on the beam for literally, what is 45 plus 45 is like 90 minutes. Yeah, I stood on the beam for an hour and a half and didn't move because they didn't let me. And guess what I was thinking? I'm going to get cut from the team. I'm not going to have a spot. I'm not going to make the competition. Guess what happened? I got cut from the team. Like, what we think about is what we materialize, right? And so we know no matter what, the brain is it's going to think. It's going to
Let me
spiral.
keep going, man.
Why don't you just tell it a good story?
Yes.
Like, what if rocket science? What if you just told it what you want it to do
It's a
instead of
story.
not?
So you might as well
All a
control
story.
it.
I tell people that all the time. Like, it's all a story. Like, we might as
Yeah.
well just tell a good one.
Yeah. That's so good, man. That's yeah. And that just goes back to my like I will stand on this forever that telling someone that come on, don't think about it. And it's with good intention. You know, anytime someone says like don't think about it, don't be scared, I don't think they're I know they're not doing it in a malicious way, you know, to like try to screw this athlete up. But just educating people. That's like realistically, that's I know you've been saying this probably for like a year, but it's actually not helpful. But once I have that conversation with people, they thank me because they're like, "Oh crap, that means I've been doing the wrong thing for the past year." So thank you, and thank you for explaining it because that now that you've explained that made sense. And so, if anything, I'm just frustrating my daughter by saying, "Come on, don't be scared, don't think about it." The kid's like, "I can do nothing when I'm standing there on the beam. I have nothing but fear, and the only thing that I'm doing is." There's a million thoughts running through my head. I can't stop thinking. So it's like, all right, let's let the be okay with the fear being there. let's focus on what can we think about? What's the truth, man? Like what do I know if I do
It's a
X,
good
Y,
thought.
Z, I'm gonna do? Yeah. So you might as well try to steer it into that direction as opposed to just saying, well, like, all right, whatever, like it just whatever happens, happens. You have a lot more control whenever you actually are proactively thinking about things that you need to.
Sarah, I'm not going to skip your physical question because I do have a couple of things that I want to add, and I'm not shaking sticks at you. Sorry, I have this in my hand because I want to show you something. I know. But this goes right into Sarah's question though. What do you say to a parent who means well, but might be putting too much pressure on the athlete and intensifying the fear? So one thing you just alluded to, and then I'm going to hand it over to Levi. But one thing you just alluded to was around that, which is this concept of educating the parents. So what I've found is that a lot of gyms, and I've even heard this, are afraid to teach their parents things. And I think it's a huge mistake because they're afraid that parents are going to become coaches. And I'm like, no, that's just clear boundary delineations, like clear roles. If you can just give the parent a role and give the coach a role and people don't like me sometimes. I've been kicked out of gyms like because I'm like a threat to their ego because they think I'm coaching. And I'm like, look, you don't want me teaching your athlete. Can I spot a double back? Yes. Do I know how to spot a Yurchenko? Sure. Have I ever taught an athlete giants? Yes. Do I want to do that now? No, I don't. I want to help them help. I want to help you help.
Help you help them, yeah.
Yeah, like I just want to do that because that's where I'm a master at. Like that, and I'm not a
Mhm.
master, it's not a good word, but like that's what I'm good at, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I have time for because I don't want to be the coach who has to by all coaches who are in here, you guys know I respect you and love you because you put so many hours into the gym and so many hours every weekend at competitions. I know I don't have the bandwidth. And where my bandwidth is to help you help them. And so that being said, is that we need to educate the coaches and the parents, sorry, educate the parents on their role and their supporting role. And they do mean really well, but what they're doing is imitating what was imitated to them and it's not and they don't have other choices of words, right? So they don't know what's best to talk about. So I love talking to the parents about their alarm system and about their brain and how there's a lion in the room and it makes sense that there's a lion in the room and it's doing its job, right? The brain is
Yeah.
doing its job to protect them and that it's not the athlete's helping it and that I guarantee you 100% that athlete, if they could go, they would go. They want to
Absolutely.
go. There's no lack of effort and there's no amount
Hmm.
of willpower that's going
Hmm.
to pull power through a chaotic mental brain,
Yeah.
the nervous system that's running behind it, and the lion that's chasing them, down the runway. Like
Yeah.
if there's no amount of willpower that can really, there is when it's a small amount of fear. So when you manage the fear, willpower can overpower, right? I can tap
Yeah.
into that focus and alertness and I can overpower it with my willpower and go, good fear. I'm glad you're here. I'm welcome. Let's
Yep.
let's do this, right?
Yep.
And use it. But and so teaching the parents, so you might have, so I'm going to hop it over to you, but like teaching the parents to use more words like, I like questions like, what did you experience today that you didn't experience yesterday? Or what was better today? Having the parents help celebrate. Kids don't know how to celebrate, and we need those happy neurochemicals to celebrate. So it's like, hey, you went for it with a spot for the first time, and this kid was never going or wasn't going the day before. Great, how are we going to celebrate? Well, mom, I didn't do it by myself. Yeah, but this is a huge stepping stone, like helping be that cheerleader at home,
Hmm.
help them see that they are making the progress and help them celebrate. Those are great places. Um, but asking, did you go for it? I mean, they just want to know. Like they just want to know where you are. But like if you go for the direct question of did you go for it today? Or how many did you do? Did you get it less than 1 point? Did you stick any? Like, you're excited to celebrate with them. These
Yeah.
are all
Yeah.
but those questions for the athlete feel like if I didn't, I felt
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't.
Straight
And
up.
so, do you have some? So, I like more questions that are around, well, how did you feel about it today? Did you feel more confident? Like sometimes you have to
Hmm.
give them a couple of options because they've never actually taken time to recognize what they feel about it. So, you might have to give them like two options to pick from. Did you feel more confident or like
Yeah.
a little easier about it? Um, Or I like them to say, like, well, how was your thinking today? Like, did you feel like you had a more positive thinking today? Like, what was, do you feel like you're making some headway in that
Hmm.
program? Like I try to get them less focused on the skill and more focused
Yeah.
on the process and more focused on celebrating. Like as a parent, my role is the process, like is to help them see the progress in their process and help them celebrate every micro win. That's
Hmm.
really where I go. So what do you recommend? Because so Levi has a what is it Tumble Blocks Moms? What's it called?
Tumble
Tumble
Block
Blocks
Moms. Yeah,
Moms.
Tumble Block Moms. It's a community. I call it a tribe, but it's an online community, and it's uh, the whole point behind it is having a place of support for moms or dads. That's usually moms that just need to be around other people that are going through the same situation as they are. And what I try to do, I really like this question because my focus has went a lot more from just athletes, or my main primary focus being athletes, to being parents, because they are the thing that is consistent in the kid's life no matter what, across the board. Whether the kid has a good day, a bad day, they're going home to mom. Whether the kid has the same coach for a decade, or their coach moves away, or there's big turnaround or turnover in your gym to where it's like they got a different coach every couple of months. The the factors, the variables change so much. Even the kid, their own ability to know and regulate their emotions, and their skills, the roller coaster. My goal is to teach parents to be that steady, consistent variable across the board, no matter what, and to be that safe place for the kid. What I like to paint this picture for parents where there's kind of there's two different type of parents, whether it's the cheer or gymnastics, where most kids that are dealing with high levels of fear and anxiety, they don't want their mom or their parents to be in the gym at all. Like most of the kids are like, no, mom, just stay in the car, don't watch me, because they feel just more judged, right? And they feel like, oh man, more pressure if I don't do it. Not only is my coach mad at me, the mom's asking me why didn't I do it, or why did I stop on that one, yada yada yada. So I always try to paint this picture of, what if you were that mom that when your kid saw you walk in, she felt safe, and she felt like, oh man, thank God mom is here. And she did better because you were there. And she's thinking about how, oh man, I can't wait till mom does that grocery run and comes back so that she can watch me, because I want her, because she's my biggest cheerleader, like you were saying, Brandy. And I know that she's gonna be proud of me no matter what. And whenever my coaches uh, lay into me and they make me condition because I didn't do the skill, I know mom's still sitting up there. She's proud of me. She supports me. And whenever I get into the car, she's gonna give me a big hug. Even if I'm crying, she's gonna love on me no matter what. She's not also going to say, now, why didn't you do it? If you would have done it, you wouldn't have had to do all that conditioning. But knowing that mom is that safe place, man, like imagine being that mom. And that's what I attempt to try to teach any parent that I get a chance to work along with side is, hey, let's figure out how you can be that mom for your kid, because that's what she needs more than anything, man. Because there's, as coaches, we're doing everything that we can. Some coaches, maybe they don't have the correct approach to how they're working through this, but when it comes down to it, uh, you got to be that mom that your kid looks forward to being there, because you make her feel safe. So um, I don't know if they answered the question at all, but I felt that was an appropriate thing to talk about, and hopefully that helped.
Yeah, I think it answers it. And the thing with safety is that, we know the number one foundation to any learning is safety.
Mm,
If you're not safe, you're not going to learn. If you're not in school, if you're not safe, you're not going to learn a new skill. If you're not safe, if the lion is too big because you don't feel safe, right? So there really is, I think parents don't realize what a great role they do have in providing just a
mhm,
foundation for a kid to experience, learn, and grow. Like it's, my daughter sometimes, fails at something or gets frustrated with something. She has a teacher she's frustrated with right now. And I'm like, I hear you. man, she's tough, but you can do it. Like, it'll be
Mhm,
okay.
mhm.
Like, what are you learning? And I was like, she's like, I said, it seems like to me, I said to her the other day, she goes, I'm learning she gives us a lot of homework. And I was like, I know. And she goes, yeah. And that extra credit packet, I said, yeah. I'm learning that it seems like to get any kind of grade in that class, like a passing grade, you have to do the extra credit packet. And she's like, yeah, like I was thinking that the other day, like it's just part of having to do the class.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And you want
I
your kids,
know
like in
it sucks.
anything, it helps whenever you feel understood, right? Like when you feel understood in anything, and that's why, it's nice to talk with a friend that listens and they're like, oh man, like I hear you, man, that really sucks. And so listening to your kid and they're expressing how they feel and stuff like, man, that sounds tough. Like I can imagine how scary doing a back handspring on a high beam is. Like, gosh, like you were so brave for even standing up there and saying that to your kid. They're like, wow, like it seems I feel like mom is, even if she doesn't understand, like she's trying to understand. This is better than her saying, well, you've been training this for 5 years and you just need to do it. Like try to in any type of way get them to, or get on the same page with them, help them to see that you're trying to understand to the best of your ability.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure. Um, Really quickly, I am going to tell you, Sarah, so I'm afraid of missing my hands-on beam. What physical exercises do we do? So, one issue with the reason why a lot of athletes are afraid of missing their hands-on beam is because that they're having trouble a lot of times judging, and it's something to train, judging the distance of the beam coming at them and getting ready for it. Right. So if I misjudge the distance, which is called convergence and divergence, and I know, Sarah, you know Yuka with Level Up Neuro. So some of this is stuff that I did with Yuka, some of the stuff I did before. But Yuka and I've worked together for 4 years now, I think. Anyways, so in short, though, working on convergence and divergence. So just having a target, you can have a stick with a letter, you can use their thumb. But just having them work on convergence and divergence where they have to keep an eye focus so that their eyes have to go from here in, right? I do a set of 5 on each hand because they never stay centered, even though they're supposed to. And then I put them upside down on a barrel or on like a octagon or hexagon mat into their, like if it's a back handspring, let's say, I'm assuming most of the time it's back handspring. So like I put them on the low beam with the mat and I put them in the back handspring position, hands on the beam. And then I'll have them and I'll take a stick or something and I'll move it and have them work the convergence in that position. Another thing I'll do is just work on the rollback part. So put that same setup where they're laying over a barrel or over an octagon and roll them back so that they have to put their hands on the hand position in the beam on the low beam, roll back, and then have them push, right? So that they're practicing getting in that positioning and pushing. Um,
Mm,
Another drill. So part of it is just getting, and I do that also with resistance bands. Sarah, you've probably seen on my Instagram, I do all this crazy wrapping with the bands. You're resisting the entire kinetic chain with that wrap. And so I'll put them into the wrap so that they have something to push into, which gives them a little more feedback uh,
mhm,
to kind of be active. And then another one that we'll do, which also comes from Yuka though, is, well, yeah, I think she sort of did it standing and then I took it into the barrel. So she taught me doing it standing where you just kind of like follow the stick up, circle the stick around, and come back so that you're learning how to track and you're tracking and training the visual system and the vestibular system. But what I took that and I kind of amped it up a little bit more and I put them over a barrel. And so they're sitting. Yeah, I've got nothing in here and I just cleaned it all out. Oh, there was this ball. Hold on 1 second. Um, so really quickly, a yoga ball, and this is something Levi, I did with that athlete you and I shared. Because she had so much, she had no idea where she really was in space. Um, so you can do it on a yoga ball. The yoga ball is more unstable, so it's harder. Um, you can also have athletes do it on the back of their couch. So they're sitting in a pike on their couch. And then when they go over the back of the arm of the couch, they can press up into that nice press arc that you get out of the back handspring. This ball is a little too small. So I'm going to modify this, but you'll get the idea. So I'd be higher up. I could be on an octagon. I could be on a barrel. I know I have videos somewhere, but it'll take too long to find it. And again, I'll do it seated on a couch, or they can do it seated on a block and go over the edge of the block. But a barrel or like a preschool mailbox.
Mailbox. That's what I was gonna say. Yep.
Mailbox is perfect. So I have
Yeah.
a lot of video. Actually, there's a video on Instagram of this exercise with the girl in mailbox. I think it's pinned at the top of my Instagram. So I have them look and they follow their thumb or they follow the letter on their stick. And the thing is, if you have an athlete that throws their pelvis forward and they have some vestibular stuff, they'll do this. And then so they'll go here and then they'll go back with their head. And so you don't want to see that. That tells me that they're not initiating their vestibular system. And that will be one of those athletes that goes here and then stops. Like you'll see an athlete get ready and they'll be here, and they'll go here, and then they'll stop, right? And it's that motion of the backwards. And that usually will tell me, yes, there's thinking involved. Yes, there's all this other stuff, but there's likely a vestibular component. So I just have them follow, and then come back. And then they do little bounces. This stimulates.
Oh my goodness, this is so good. I love this.
And then they circle their arms around and come back up. So you do not follow the target on the way up. You only follow the target back for back tumbling. This is for back tumbling.
Yeah.
And so what you're training, there's two different parts to the inner ear. We're not going to go into the anatomy. I'll let you could do all that stuff. But you have the canals and the ear rocks. So you're training two different parts of the ear when you do the follow back, and you're training the bounces, which is a different part of the ear. And then you're also training visual, which is target tracking, which is the part that's really important for finding your hands on beam. But it's also really important for like cheer tumbling, because if I don't target track and I don't know where my hands hit the floor and then my feet, right? Like I'm not going to really know where I am in space. And
Yeah.
that's also going to contribute to my fear.
Yeah.
So
Man,
I
that's really good.
a set of 5. So it's not many. They do a set of 5, and then they can go over and do the drill with the octagon at the edge of the low beam, rolling back, putting their hands through, pushing. You're clearly gonna have to spot them so it'll roll off. And then they go do their skill wherever they're comfortable, right? So like if it's floor line, they do floor line, and then I go through the ladder, which is Doc Alley stuff, which Sarah, I'm certain you're familiar with and probably use. But then they go through their ladder progression where they have made it up, not me. The athlete made it. They give autonomy, but they say, okay, I'll do 3, and they get to pick their numbers. I tell them to give a range though, because we have good and bad days. I do give them guidance on that. I make them do a range on their numbers, because sometimes it's a bad day and you need 5 on the line instead of 3. Sometimes it's a good day and 3 is good, but they have to pick their number before they start. So if they say, okay, today's a good day, I'll do 3. Today's not so good day, I'm gonna do 5 on the floor line. So, then they work their ladder progression, and they go, floor line, laser beam, low beam. And then if they start to feel a little dicey, they pick up their drill. And I ask them which drill feels the best. And they start to figure it out. A lot of times they come back to this drill. Sometimes they just want to feel the push. So they'll do the octagon drill. But then they can go back to their progression. They're not dropping down. They just keep moving forward. But you have to retrain the eyes and the ears, right? And then I bounce. And because this ball is a little small, you're seeing my pelvis roll forward. Ideally, the pelvis keeps going back. The ball needs to be bigger. So sorry, it's like a makeshift stuff today, but I hope that helps.
Man, that's good. See, Sarah, I told you she was gonna give you that practical stuff, man.
Yeah, but you can use that drill too. This is good
No,
stuff.
I'm so the crazy thing is I was just working with this kid 2 days ago, and she's doing a standing handspring. She's a cheerleader, but she'll do her handspring, and every once in a while she'll get herself to do it on the floor like this, but she'll do it on tumble track every time. But she turns her head, she drops this arm out like this as she's going back, right? So she'll drop like one arm out like this. And so it was very interesting, Brandi, because I was like, hey, you know what? I was like, just stand with your feet just slightly apart. Hold your arms up. And then I said, I want you to just go. I was like, you can do a back bend, right? She could do a back walkover. And so she was just getting her to go from here and even look back like that was such a challenge to look back straight. And I was like, weird. And then because it got
So
to the point where I was like, hey, don't even do the back bend. I was like, Remy, just arms up. And I was like, I just want you to just look straight back at the wall behind you. And it was
she kept
so
going to the
tough.
side, right?
It was so tough for her.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's vestibular. So this is something I learned from Yuka, Level Up Neuro. If you want to follow her on Instagram, she's already got like a bunch of followers. But like when she goes back and the head goes to one side, it's typically that ear that's not getting enough information.
Weird.
So you
Yeah, she does it to the right.
have them, yeah, so you can actually have them do that, tilt the head, look up and bounce to the side of the head that they go towards. So if they're always going this way or that one arm's always going first,
Yeah.
tells us that this ear wants more information. And so you're like, you need to give it more information. If you give it more information, then you ask them to do the drill going straight back. And
Weird.
you did it already, like you micro broke it down, but
Yeah.
then do it at a slower pace and not in the full position.
Yeah.
And then if they're still really struggling, then I take them to the barrel after, like they're getting it, but it's still like too much of
Uh-huh.
a jump to go from that to a back handspring and
Yeah.
not do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you take them slower and do it through the barrel. Have them, then you can do a jump back handspring over the barrel, like
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
slowly building up the speed, but looking to see, are they going straight? Because that turn is likely that inner ear. So I usually do this one and have them bounce. And so when they're bouncing, your feet are just kind of um, gonna go like just up and down, like really.
Okay. It's almost like calf raises.
And all you're doing is, yeah, but you're just shaking your head to stimulate the ear rocks in your ears. And then I follow it up with that ball drill. Those two drills together would probably clean it up.
Huh.
And then you can
Very
go do
interesting.
your thing like you do there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I was just kind of like playing around, experimenting. So once you started doing all this, I was like, oh man, this reminds me of Remy's situation. So, and I gave her homework to do, but now that you just talked about all that, I'm gonna have her include some of those things into it. So that's
So
really cool.
if you don't have time to figure out right or left, but it is almost always, not always, but almost always the side they're leaning to is the side that needs more information. So you can be more specific, but even just that's part of the reason why I like the one that I just showed you, because when you get to that bouncing part, you're stimulating that same part of their ear. So
Interesting. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
yeah, fun stuff, fun stuff. I love it. Sarah said she never noticed the scoop forward as a cheat. That's sneaky. Definitely giving that. Dude, Sarah, the scoop forward is the one where they throw their pelvis forward. That is actually a contributing factor to spondy and hypermobility in the low back, hip issues, knee, ankle. So that movement pattern is something that really needs to be looked at. It's a precursor. I can spot out a kid at age 6 or 7 and say that's a risk factor for spondy, like pretty quick. If they go down the path, if they don't ever fix it, but it's a technical issue that can create a lot of issues. We are right at 1:06, so I know Levi's a busy man. Do you have any other tidbits or like, yes, yeah, great, good. Sarah saying that linking it to the drills makes a lot of sense. Great. Um, do you have any more tidbits for us? And you have some stuff coming up. You have like a fear camp. Who has a fear camp during winter?
Oh yeah, I got a fair
They're
management
great.
workshop, man. I got one coming up. Yep. In like 6 weeks. Um, yeah, so I usually do two of those a year. I do one like at the beginning of the year and then one during summertime. So whether you have, if you're listening, you're a coach that has a lot of athletes that are going through um, high levels of fear, anxiety with their tumbling skills, or if you're a parent, I have these where I have up to 20 kids in these camps. I cap it at 20. And it's an educational session for both parents and the athlete. They sit side by side. I give them training. And then we actually practically apply the things on the mat. So myself and I have another coach with me for the sake of the athletes getting some reps. And we apply all the stuff that I just taught them just there on the mat. It's a 3-day event, but it's really cool. Fear management workshop. So if anybody's interested in that, you can find all my information on if you go to www.thecoachlevi.com or on all social media. It's at thecoachlevi. So you can find all my info there.
And you
But
also have some new stuff you ventured into. Do you want to tell us about it? The outside of the cheer world.
yeah, so I recently started. applying the frameworks and the stuff that I've learned just from experience working with athletes, teaching them how to work through the fear that they're going through, and then applying those things to other areas of life, whether it's like business, leadership, in just high pressure situations on a daily basis that we go through as humans, as individuals. In their It's funny because I find myself coaching myself often, and it's like I'm asking myself, man, what would Coach Levi say to a kid that was experiencing this, right? So I apply these different things that I've learned, and I apply it to real life situations, and it's been a lot of fun to being able to help professionals and entrepreneurs and people that are doing things that are scary, but being able to do them even with that high level of fear and anxiety being there, and just getting them to focus on, hey, what do we know? What are the reps that we've put in? What's the stuff that we've learned? Let's lean on that and allow the fear to be there, because it's going to be there. So no need to try to force it to go away, but let's focus on what we know. And so, like Brandi was saying, I've started to work in that space some more as of recent, which has been a lot of fun. So yeah, that's what I'm doing these days.
I know. I'm excited. I'm excited. I keep following you because I love all the things you're doing. We do have one more quick question.
Yeah, go.
Says, how do you explain to parent why they went once because they bribed them, but does not fix the issue? This is great. Bribery is one of those things that gets resorted to very quickly when things are not going well. And bribery never works. It only lasts temporary. So, Levi,
It's temporary,
I
yes.
know. So, Levi, what would you say to a parent who was like, but Coach Carla, she, Sarah's laughing. Yeah, just had an Insta post about bribes. Good. They need to learn about it. But yeah, so Coach Levi, what would your opinion, what would you say to Coach Carla? Like when Carla's like, the parent comes up to her and is like, Coach Carla, they went the other day and because I got her that, Lululemon or I got her a new GK Leo, and now they're not going. Why won't they go?
Yeah.
What do you tell to a parent, as a coach?
It's funny. I just got asked this question on this other podcast that I was on. And like when it comes down to it, if your goal is to just get the kid to perform this skill one time, like if you're like, hey, you know what, I just want to see this kid do this skill, and it's like, hey, I'll take you for ice cream or to Lulu or whatever. It's like, okay, if that's all you care about, you want to see your kid do the skill, it will probably work. Like I see it happen all the time. Like a kid will do the skill. It's like, but what's the bigger picture? Like, do you care about the kid just doing the skill that one time, or do you care about the kid like being able to continue to do this? And so, it's absolutely positively not a long term fix. It's just not straight up. Like, there's no way around it. That's not going to fix the situation. I think in the same vein, you have either there's a positive thing that happens, or there's a negative consequence. And so a lot of times coaches, they'll do the other thing, say, hey, if you don't do this, then you got this much conditioning, or the whole team has to do XYZ. And so either way, what it comes down to is there's some external thing that's making them do it, whether it's a good thing or it's trying to avoid a bad thing. And what I try to teach my kids, and what you got to teach parents to understand as well, is you got to get the kid to learn how to push themselves, because ultimately they're the ones that's going to keep making the progress and not be dependent on a coach, not to be dependent on a parent. We're there for guidance, but ultimately it comes down to them continuing to move down that path and push towards whatever the goal is, because that's sustainable. Once the kid is like, hey, you know what, based on all the things that my coach has taught me, based on the support that I feel from my parents, I'm ready to take the leap and do this thing, even though I'm scared. I know that I can do it because I have all the proper training. I got all the support that I need. And so when that kid's ready to do that, that's when you're going to see the consistency there. That is going to be the times where it's like, oh, cool, she got it, and then she don't just do it. Then she did it multiple practices in a row, and then she competed it. Not like, oh yeah, she did it one time because she had everybody watching her, and Lululemon was on the line. It's like, yeah, she may do it that one time, but it's just not going to be sustainable. So I mean, I would the way that I would approach it, to answer your question specifically, I would ask, well, what reason are you bribing her? Do you want to see her just do the skill for the sake of seeing her do the skill just one time? If the answer is yes, I doubt that that would ever be the answer. But if that's what the answer is, it's like, okay, if you want to brag your kid and see her do the skill one time, that will probably work. Or do you want to see her do it long term and stay consistent with it? Because if that's the case, then it's going to be more than just bribing her to do it. So you
I
take
love
your
it.
pick.
One of the ways I look at it is I go back to the nerves that fire together, wire together. So are we teaching our athletes that they have to get a reward in order to do anything hard?
Yeah.
And then in life, do you want to teach your athlete that in order to in order, to succeed in something hard, which is life, right? Like we will all come into some kind of hard spot.
Yeah.
They have to have a reward. So
Yeah.
because for me, when I look at the bigger picture, you're going, if that's the lesson I'm teaching them, then I'm setting them up for failure because in corporate world and other places, you will do hard thing after hard thing after hard thing, and your reward will be the same salary you came home with last
Hmm.
week. Like it's
Hmm.
not going to be. And so now what they think they have to blow their salary on a new car every time they do something hard or they got the big project done or
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like at some point, what do you? It's not, and you said it just like that. It's not sustainable.
Hmm.
It's not sustainable for life either.
Yeah.
Reward
Yeah. Yeah.
yourself
Big
every single
picture.
time, and it's like, okay, yes, I should celebrate, but a celebration is can be anything. And I try
Yeah.
to, I let kids. I was like, celebration should be equivocal to the process, right? So, like, if you have never done anything ever and it is your first time and you went for it, for all means, make a huge celebration. But if we're working our ladder each day, you should celebrate each step of that ladder today, even
Yes.
though today is your day 100 of doing your back handspring on the floor line. There should still be a celebration. I still got it. Good job. Like,
Yeah.
a good word or something and build yourself up so that our celebrations are equivocal to the process. So, for instance, no one taught me how to celebrate as an athlete. So when I won a national championship, so at 7 years old, let's become a college athlete and win a national championship. I didn't even set a goal just to become a college athlete. No, I decided to top that and say I wanted a national championship. I didn't know what I was saying when I was 7. So I mean, no clue what that actually meant. But
Yeah.
like no clue. But point being is that because I never really learned how to celebrate, right? The process of it, I get to the end, and it wasn't till 10, almost 20 years later that I realized I had never celebrated winning a national championship. It was like, who sets a goal? Who's crazy enough to set a goal at 7 and then change their whole life around it? Make every decision, what dances they go to, whether they do Halloween or not, whether what they put in their body, what they eat, what they drink, what they like the whole thing, sleeping schedules, all based on one thing, right? And even choosing what other sports I participated in or didn't do
Yeah.
all these things. I was like, who does that? And then you get to the end, you finally get there and you go, what's next? Like, come on. Like, that's it's such silliness. And I had some friends also in the sport of gymnastics who, I was never on the elite track. I was never that kind of athlete. I had to work hard for my sport. I was not the first one picked at anything. And and so the point though is that I had even Olympic level athletes who went to nationals, who went to Olympic trials and like didn't get picked and they're like 20, 30 years outside the sport. And I was like, what do you mean? Like I had known them for many years. I go, what do you mean you were like third at Olympic trials or fourth at whatever? And I was like, geez, that's amazing. Did you celebrate? And she was like, no, because they looked at not making it, right? So
Right.
it's this interesting process of balance
Yeah.
between reward and celebration.
Yeah, man.
And for me, it's
That's
very
actually
important to define, like for the parent to define reward versus celebration. By all means, when they do it, we should celebrate things, but bribing with a reward, right? Like it's just not, you're teaching them that in order to do a hard thing, I have to have something, I have to get something. And that just doesn't work in life. Like what I want to get out of it is the perseverance I did to do that, right? Like the digging down deep and knowing that I can do hard things. Like I'll never forget, like it was my, is it junior year or senior year? I think it was senior year. We went to Air Force Academy to compete. We always did two meets there because we go for spring break. And I hated Air Force Academy because it was at Pikes Peak, which is the highest point in Colorado, and I am a Texas girl born and raised all the way through. And so I get at that altitude and I'm like, I'm dying.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And I never forget. So for some reason, I had had like rough workout or whatever because we'd done training sessions before. So he didn't put me on beam. He put me on vault. Didn't put me on beam that meet. And I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of good with this because we're at Pikes Peak. I was just like, okay, I can do my best for that little bit of time on vault, and
Yeah,
I'm done.
done.
And so we hit the rotation before beam, and we're competing, and two of my teammates go down with injuries.
Oh,
And he looks over and he goes, "You're up." And I was
yep, kid.
I'm not doing bars. Like I looked at him like seriously. I'm like, I'm not doing bars because I'd had an injury and they'd take me out of bars for a while. So I'm like, I'm not doing bars. And he looks at me and he points at the beam and I was like, really? He's like, yeah. So I didn't even get warm up. I said, can I do something on the floor? He goes, quick before the judges see. So I did a flick lay on the line and I got 30-second touch. And I hit that beam routine. I hit that beam routine. And the point is that I actually wish that I had gone back and celebrated that I could do something hard when unexpected and
Yeah, yeah,
in
that's huge.
situations. And so that though, I celebrate it now regularly because it happens often.
All the time.
Multiple times USA Gymnastics, I am not on the docket. Someone misses their flight or they cancel because of this thing. And the hour before their session, they're like, "Can you teach on this topic?"
Yeah,
A
yeah,
presentation in front of 200 people in
yeah.
an hour.
Mhm.
It happened 5 times in my career already.
Yeah.
And so it's like, but I'm like, you know what? I was like, yes, it can. Remember that time as an
Yep,
athlete? And
yep,
so
yep,
it's like,
yep, yep, yep.
that's the part I
Hmm.
like to remind the
That's
parent.
really good. I like that. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
we're actually
Hmm.
trying to. So, and it wasn't because I was getting something. It was because I did something hard. I was like, I can
Yeah,
do it. I want to see, can I do it again? Can I do
yeah,
it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
more?
And then the challenge then becomes the reward is putting yourself in that position, to do something hard and doing it. That's your reward. And then it feels good. You're like, oh, sweet. I still got it, man. I can't just step into a situation, crush it. That's such a cool thing, man, because not a lot of people can do that. And that is the thing that we should
Sports can do that
be
to you, though.
working towards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but sports, any sports, cheerleading's a great place. Stepping in for a teammate that goes down, because the whole routine is based on everybody having a spot.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
so, and someone goes down during it happens during
Yeah.
competition. So
Yeah.
can you throw yourself in and do someone else's spot or take a bigger
Hmm.
spot or whatever?
Yeah.
Can you step up? I mean, any sport has that situation where can you step up? It's a
Yeah.
great thing to celebrate. Anyways, I love this topic. I'm so glad you came in, Levi. We love having you. Thank you so much. And again, Levi is the Coach Levi on Instagram and also his website, the Coach Levi. And he has a fear management camp coming up. Is it January?
January, yeah, it's second through fourth. So I usually do it somewhere around the Christmas and New Year's break.
Yeah.
So it's right at the tail end of that break.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you guys so much for attending. For those of you, next week we do have Blueprint. We decided to keep it. It's going to be me and it's going to be open. So we can do a Q&A. We can cover whatever topics you guys want to do. If you have something big and you want to pull out stuff, please text me beforehand. But if not, we'll do it on the fly and see what you guys want to talk about. And then the following week, we have Brett Vargo coming in. He is Brett Vargo. My brain is Brett Wargo is coming in. He's going to talk college recruiting 101. So December 3rd, we'll be doing college recruiting 101 with Brett. And then, but next week we'll do open Q&A with me and we can hang out and talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And I'm sure we will figure out another time next year for Levi to come in because everybody loves it.
Sweet. Absolutely. I'd love to come back. And hey, happy Thanksgiving to you, Brandy, and to your whole community. Happy Thanksgiving. Thankful to all of you for having me on today.
Thank you so much, Levi. You have a happy Thanksgiving with your family and all your girls.
Thank you. I will.
You got a house full of girls over there, don't you?
Yes, and one
Okay.
boy. So we have a total of 4 kids, 3 girls, 1 boy.
Okay. Well, I love it. You guys have an amazing. Well, I'll give more power to the boy so he can try to
Yes,
hold his ground with all the
he
girls.
needs a man.
Well, have a happy Thanksgiving and thank